We begin tonight with breaking news here on Channel 3 News at 7. City Hall officials are confirming reports that Amanda Berry and Gina DeJesus, two young Cleveland women who have been missing for a long time, 10 years and 9 years respectively, have been found, and they have been found alive. Lena Lai is on the telephone with us right now in that area. Lena, fill us in with more.
Hi, Jimmy. Yeah, like you said, it's simply amazing. We are at West 25th and Seymour in Cleveland at the 2200 block of Seymour, where about an hour ago, neighbors tell me that they heard a woman about 30 years old banging on their door, and she had with her a young baby. And when they opened the door, she said, "My name is Amanda Berry. I've been held for the last 10 years, and Gina DeJesus is with me."
Have you heard, or do we know yet, if anyone has been taken into custody, that man that you spoke about that has been keeping these women presumed captive?
Yes. From what we understand, that there may be somebody in custody. We have not been able to confirm that yet with police. What neighbors tell me, they themselves are shocked. They know this man. I'm not going to say his full name, but they know him as Ariel.
And so this young lady identified herself as
Amanda Berry. And she said this is his child, and that girl's about 9, 10 years old. You know what I mean?
And what about Gina DeJesus?
And she was up there, too. Now, she didn't come out with Amanda. The police went in the house and got them.
And we understand that the homeowner, the male in the house who is being accused of holding these young women, he was a Cleveland school bus driver? Is that what you're hearing as well?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing as well. And he just got caught right there on Clark off McDonald's.
I managed to catch the glimpse of Nancy Ruiz as she was being shuttled to Metro Hospital by a police commander, and I yelled through the window. I said, "Is this Gina? Is she alive?" And she said, "Yes, it is. Thank God." What are their conditions right now?
All of them talking, very, very healthy, and we're just very happy, and it's confirmed that they're here and they're doing well.
They have both been taken to Metro Hospital, and that is where Jen Lindgren is live outside with lots of family and friends and people who have looked for these girls for years who are ecstatic with this news. Jen?
Hi, Robin. As you saw just a few minutes ago, people outside the hospital here are very emotional, and probably no one more so than the families of these two young women. And with me right now are two of Amanda Berry's cousins, Tashina and Destiny. They found out, like everybody else did, just a little bit ago, and came up here to see if they could find out more. Tell me how you're feeling now, first of all, Destiny.
I'm excited. I'm happy. I just want to see her. I just want to see what she looks like. I just want to see her. I just want to hold her.
Hey, I'm so excited. Like, you don't even understand. I think about her every day. I thought about her every day. I prayed about her every night. I'm just so excited that we're here. We're just so close but so far away because they won't let us in.
Cleveland police did confirm earlier this evening, about just a few minutes ago, that it was Amanda Berry and Gina DeJesus. Another young woman was found as well. Her name is Michelle Knight. You know, we had not even heard of the disappearance of Michelle Knight. Police tell me that she disappeared in 2002, which would be a year before Amanda Berry disappeared. And the commander tells me that not much attention was put on Michelle Knight because she was 20 years old at the time of her disappearance. So a lot of people assume that she was an adult and of her own free will.
This is an amazing story. This just doesn't happen all the time.
No, it doesn't. I came here in 1986. I would have to say this is the biggest story ever, and I am so happy for those families that those girls have been found. So it's just incredible.
Call me, I'm Amanda Berry. They're alive. It is the moment Northeast Ohio has been waiting for. Amanda Berry, Gina DeJesus, and Michelle Knight found, held captive in a home within miles from where they were last seen around a decade ago. Neighbors witnessed the escape.
She says, "I've been kidnapped, and I've been in this house a long time. I want to leave right now."
We are learning about the man accused of holding them hostage, plus a child found with the three women. Live team coverage of this amazing story starts now. And good evening, everyone. We are going right to our live team coverage on this breaking news tonight. I'm Chris Pickle.
And good evening. I'm Russ Mitchell on an incredible night in Cleveland, a night where you can truly believe that miracles really do happen. Okay, here are the headlines once again. 3 women who many thought were dead. 2 of those women, teenagers, the last time their families saw them more than a decade ago, have been found alive. The 3 women, Amanda Berry, Gina DeJesus, and Michelle Knight, are all safe and sound tonight. The man who police believe kidnapped those women and held them captive all these years is behind bars, and families, a community, in fact, an entire area, is celebrating this evening in what can best be described as joyous disbelief. Let's show you a picture right now of Amanda Berry taken tonight from her hospital room at Metro Health Medical Center. Amanda Berry, her sister, and an unidentified young girl. We think we know who she is. We're not quite sure yet, so we're going to hold off on that. But as you can see, smiles are all around there. We've got complete team coverage for you, but let's begin with the chilling, the stunning 911 call that Amanda Berry made to police tonight at 5:51.
Help me, I'm Amanda Berry.
You need police, fire, or ambulance?
I need police.
Okay, and what's going on there?
I've been kidnapped and I've been missing for 10 years and I'm here, I'm free now.
Okay, and what's your address?
2207 Seymour Avenue.
2207 Seymour. Looks like you're calling me from 2210. Looks like you're calling me from 2210.
I can't hear you.
It looks like you were calling me from 2210 Seymour.
Yeah, I'm across the street, I'm using the phone.
Okay, stay there with those neighbors. Talk to the police when they get there.
Okay.
Okay, talk to the police when they get there.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah, talk to the police when they get there.
Okay, I'm on the way right now.
We're going to send them as soon as we get a car open.
No, I need them now before we get back.
All right, we're sending them, okay?
Okay, I mean, like,
who's the guy who went out?
His name is Castro.
All right, how old is he?
He's like 52.
All right, and
I'm Amanda Berry. I've been on the news for the last 10 years.
Okay, I got that here. I already. And you said, what was his name again?
Castro.
And is he white, black, or Hispanic?
He's Hispanic.
What's he wearing?
I don't know, because he's not here right now. That's why I got away.
When he left, what was he wearing?
It's a pity. What?
Right, the police are on the way. Talk to them when they get there. Okay?
I
told you they're on the way. Talk to them when they get there, okay?
All right, okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
One of the suspects in this case, 52-year-old Ariel Castro, someone who neighbors say they knew very well here. In fact, people say they barbecued with him. They talked to him an awful lot. They knew that he lived in the house alone, or at least I should say they thought that he lived in the house alone. According to police, apparently that was not the case. The investigator, Tom Meyer, joins me now with more on the suspect. Tom, what did you find out?
Russ, police are looking at a possible connection between Castro's daughter and Amanda Berry. They may have been classmates. That's still unconfirmed, but they're looking at it. Also, Castro's son, interestingly enough, wrote an article. He's a newspaper reporter, wrote an article about the disappearance of Gina DeJesus shortly after it happened. He told us that he was absolutely stunned that this could possibly happen. Now, the feds got here shortly after 9 o'clock to search the property. We understand Castro may own 2 other properties they're going to look at right down the street. As for his criminal record, it was pretty clean. He only had 1 run-in with the law. That was a domestic violence arrest in 1993. The charge was dropped. He lived in this house since 1992. I know there's been a lot of concerns about sex trafficking, but Cleveland police responded only twice to calls at the home, and we're not sure what those calls were about. Now, I did talk with a neighbor, and I did talk with his uncle, and here's what they had to say.
Well, he used to be a school bus driver, and he would always come and he will park his bus in front of this field right here.
Now, interestingly, Castro posted on Facebook on April 22nd, he said a real woman would not use their children as a weapon to hurt their father. April 29th, he says, you make my every day. And on May 2nd, he said, miracles really do happen. God is good.
While the disappearance made Amanda Berry and Gina DeJesus household names in Northeast Ohio, we really hadn't heard anything about Michelle Knight. Let me tell you what we do know about her. She went missing back in 2002. She was 20 years old while a missing persons report was filed. Being 20 years old, she was an adult when she went missing, so the search was nothing like the ones for Berry and DeJesus. And she, again, is at Metro Health Medical Center along with Amanda Berry and Gina DeJesus. Once again, it is one of those days where you can truly believe that miracles really do happen. If there's ever been a point in your life when you've given up hope, and I think we all have at some point, maybe we all learned a lesson on this glorious May Day. Have a great evening, everybody. The latest tomorrow on Channel 3 News Today at 4:30. Good night.
My co-anchor Chris Ty is covering this breaking news story this morning. Gina DeJesus, Amanda Berry have been found alive some 10 years after they went missing. Another woman, Michelle Knight, was also found. Let's turn it over to Chris, who is still at that very active scene this morning. Hi, Chris.
Aaron, good morning to you. We're in the 2200 block of Seymour, and this White House that's lit up behind me is the centerpiece of this story. If you asked reporters in Cleveland what would be the most amazing story to unfold today, this would be right there at the very top. That Gina DeJesus and Amanda Berry both found alive together. It is just unbelievable. One of the things that strikes you is in that 911 call, she said, "I'm Amanda Berry. I'm the girl on the news." That tells you she has been watching the coverage of her disappearance and watching her mom plead for the community to come forward and help. And yesterday there were members of this community that came forward in a very big way. Heroic actions indeed, and we'll take you in that part of the story as our team coverage continues on this very big news day this Tuesday morning, Aaron.
Chris, absolutely. We love these stories of hope. I have goosebumps as I'm talking to you, and as Jen Lindgren said earlier, this community, those families, they never gave up on those girls. It's such a happy ending. Chris, thank you.
You know, you tell people all the time when you cover these big stories, normally they do not have happy endings. This is 1 in a million right here, and we're certainly glad for that.
Yes, it is. And you've been here since yesterday evening. We have been on top of this story since yesterday evening when we first heard word that Amanda Berry, who'd been missing since 2003, was found in a home on Cleveland's west side.
Investigators spent the night searching the home of Ariel Castro. He is the suspect in this case. He's 52 years old. Also now expanding their search to abandoned homes on either side of his house.
So also surprising news to come out of this news conference was that Amanda Berry, we have confirmed within the last few hours, did have a child while in captivity. That child is now 6 years old, meaning that Berry gave birth when she was 21. This is a photo of Amanda and her sister at the hospital. We cannot confirm, however, that the child in this photo is Amanda's. Neither would police confirm who fathered the child. And when questioned as to where that child was born, whether in a house or somewhere else, police said they had not yet asked Amanda. Combing through all that information is the investigator Tom Meyer. And Tom, I understand you have some new information for us right now.
We have very disturbing news to report. I just got off the phone with 2 very good police sources, and they tell me that the girls who were held captive by their captors were forced to have sex with them. They say that the rapes resulted in 5 pregnancies. They say, one of the sources say the captors would beat the pregnant girls. Both sources say the babies did not survive. We have calls into police brass trying to confirm all this, but it does come from 2 very good police sources. We don't know if there's any connection between these pregnancies, and to the, quote, disturbed ground that they're digging up in the backyard.
We've been working with this for 12 years, and this is a very good day. Not only for Cleveland, for the nation.
I'm witnessing people from everywhere in Cleveland right now to celebrate that they came home. This is a beautiful thing.
Run for our girls! What a day of Thanksgiving and prayers in Cleveland.
It's crazy. I ain't never seen nothing like this before. Welcome home, y'all.
They showing their support, man.
Welcome home, honeys.
Feels good, man. We got all 3 girls home safely, you know.
I'm just in total disbelief. I'm happy, and I'm just in total disbelief. I can't believe what I'm actually seeing. I cannot believe what I'm actually seeing here. Thank Jesus for Charles Ramsey. Thank you. I just want to give him a big hug. Oh, my God.
I feel like I knew the girls because it's been going on for so long since I was a kid. And every year they have something about it, and now they finally home, so God bless.
The hero of this story,
right,
and that is the neighbor of one of the suspects.
Charles Ramsey is the hero. He is seen as a hero around the world. He is the person who rescued Amanda Berry yesterday. The man, you've been seeing him on TV for the last 12 hours. Charles, getting any sleep in the last, not at all, couple hours, you told us?
Man, yeah, about 2. About 2, just because you want to go to sleep because in your heart you know you've done a good deed, but since those kids were next door to me, it's hard to sleep.
Sure. You've told this story a million times. I'm going to start it. By now the world knows you were coming back from McDonald's. You were eating your Big Mac, and you heard screams. What'd you do at that point?
This girl, her scream was so loud, children stopped playing. That's what made me look outside. That's how loud her scream was. So you figured a tree fell on her or something. And I went outside and I looked, and she was just kicking the door, and I look and I know there's no woman that's supposed to my knowledge, that lives next door.
Russ, we're getting a much better idea of what really went on inside Ariel Castro's Seymour Avenue home. Police sources tell me that Castro initially chained the women up in the basement and eventually allowed them to live upstairs. The women were allowed to go outside only on occasion, and they would have to wear wigs and sunglasses and look down at the ground. Babies that were delivered inside that home never went to the doctor. I'm told that Castro threatened to kill Michelle Knight if the baby she was delivering died. But then in another case, police say Castro punched her in the stomach repeatedly until she aborted. Castro and his brothers didn't quite live up to the Castro family's good standing in the community. Pedro Castro and his brother Nil like to drink and get rowdy, both busted for public intox and disorderly conduct. Nil was charged on drug charges and blowing things up in his backyard. A neighbor spoke to us on the condition we not identify her.
They do drugs a lot, drink every day, and they actually use the neighborhood prostitutes.
The middle brother, Ariel, was arrested on a domestic violence charge, but a grand jury did not indict him. Police responded only twice to Ariel Castro's home in the past 13 years. In 2000, it was Ariel who called police to report a fight in the street. 4 years later, police knocked on his door for leaving a child unattended on a Cleveland school bus he drove. No one answered and police left. Ariel Castro is the same Ariel Castro who wished his granddaughter a happy birthday on his son's Facebook page, saying, "Love the flower on your hair. I love you. Kisses and hugs." The Castro brothers come from a family with a stellar reputation in Cleveland's Puerto Rican community. Could the three brothers have been above suspicion because of their family's good standing? The family is comprised of businessmen and a sister who was active in local politics, working for former Mayor Jane Campbell as her Hispanic liaison.
The Castro family is a very prominent family, and this is something that has shocked the whole community.
Police confirmed today what we reported last night, that Ariel Castro's daughter went to school with Amanda Berry. That explains why Amanda got in the car with him that day in April 10 years ago when she vanished. She apparently knew him, or at least knew his daughter. Castro was fired as a Cleveland school bus driver for a series of bad moves that included making an illegal U-turn with a busload of kids.
The word is that police arrived here in a very good time, but that 911 operator is getting some grief on social media. Our Tom Barris has been looking into this. Tom, what do you think? What are you hearing from the city on this?
The city's not happy about it, Russ. Social media has been full of complaints all day from people who, as you said, thought the dispatchers seemed brusque, disconnected, insensitive, not really listening to the hysteria and desperation in Amanda Berry's voice. Well, the good news is that response time from the first 911 call to police getting on the scene, just a little more than a minute and a half. In about 6.5 minutes, the trio was rescued and safe. But Amanda was pleading, desperate, making her call, obviously afraid her abductor might come back and take away her freedom. She was trying to impress the urgency of all this on the young male dispatcher, who seemed more interested in quibbling about an address.
Help me, I'm Amanda Berry.
What's your address?
2207 Seymour Avenue.
2207 Seymour. Looks like you're calling me from 2210. Looks like you're calling me from 2210.
Words cannot fully describe what this homecoming means for Amanda Berry and her family, who have suffered through the unthinkable for the past 10 years. A police motorcade parted crowds of cheering onlookers as Amanda finally arrived home Wednesday. Our camera caught a glimpse of Amanda inside this minivan as she pulled a blanket over her daughter's head to protect her from cameras before going inside. A short time later, her sister Beth addressed the media.
I want to thank the public and the media for their support and encouragement over the years, and at this time, our family would request privacy so my sister and niece and I can have time to recover.
want to thank everybody that believed, even when I said she was alive.
I knew she needed me, and I never gave up. Never gave up searching for her.
I will present this case to the Cuyahoga County Grand Jury and will leave no stone unturned in a methodical evaluation of the evidence. Based on the facts, I fully intend to seek charges for each and every act of sexual violence, rape, each day of kidnapping, every felonious assault, all his attempted murders, and each act of aggravated murder he committed by terminating pregnancies that the offender perpetuated against the hostages during this decade-long ordeal.
Explosive new details in the kidnapping and rape case involving Amanda, Gina, and Michelle.
The investigator Tom Meyer has learned that Ariel Castro has confessed at least to the kidnapping. So, Tom, what can you tell us about this?
Well, first we have some good news. We spoke with someone who visited with Gina at her home, and they described her as looking fabulous and good spirits, laughing and joking. Now we have learned what Ariel Castro told police during his interrogation. For the first time, we are learning what Ariel Castro told police during his interrogation. Police sources told Channel 3 News that Castro claimed he was addicted to sex and that he couldn't control his impulses. Castro told police exactly what happened during the abductions, from how he met them to what they were wearing that day. We're told none of the abductions seemed planned, that they were all crimes of opportunity. And when he got the girls to his Seymour Avenue home, he chained them up in the basement. He also had locks on the outside of doors once the three women were allowed upstairs. If it sounds unbelievably cruel, Castro would seem to agree. He told police that he was, quote, cold-blooded. We're told that Castro was cocky during the interview and sought to control the interrogation like he controlled the three women in his Seymour Avenue house. We're also told the only remorse Castro showed during the interview was remorse that he got caught. In fact, Castro told cops he knew he'd get caught because Castro didn't have an exit plan. Castro said police had a chance to bust him, but they missed it. Now, it's unclear when that happened. It could have been when Cleveland police knocked on his door in 2004 after Castro left a student on his bus, or it might have been when sheriff deputies went to his house 3 times in 2005 to serve papers. Now, coming up at 5, more on the suicide note that police found inside Castro's home. Unbelievable. The guy didn't have an exit plan after 10 years.
Exactly. Now, is he on suicide watch tonight?
He is. That's what we were told. He's on suicide watch.
Interesting. Okay. All right, Tom. We'll see you in just a bit.
Okay.
And for the first time this morning, we saw Ariel Castro when he was arraigned on those rape and kidnapping charges.
Channel 3's Monica Robbins is here to explain what is next for Ariel Castro. Monica?
Good afternoon, Russ and Chris. Public Defender Kathleen Demetz told the judge how Ariel Castro lived in the area for 39 years and had no felonies or serious convictions, but it wasn't enough for the judge. She set his bond, as you said, $2 million for each case for a total of an $8 million bond. Assistant Prosecutor Brian Murphy called Castro's imprisonment of the women deliberate and depraved, and now the tables have turned. Ariel Castro is the one in captivity, and he's not getting out anytime soon. Ariel Castro was completely silent throughout the proceedings. He kept his collar turned up on his blue jumpsuit and turned his back to the dozens of cameras and reporters in the courtroom.
$0.3 million. It won't repay their pain, but it will help fund recovery for the women and little girl who survived.
The numbers just go up and up and up before your eyes.
Donations to the Cleveland Courage Fund exceed $1.3 million from roughly 10,500 donors.
We want to show you WKYC.com first of all, because this is where you're going to get your complete coverage. We have 2 options for you on our home screen. Here we have live video. It says warning, Castro sentencing graphic. You can click there to watch. That is actually a feed of what is happening inside the courtroom. That's just a clean feed. None of our experts, none of us talking. That's where you'll just see what's happening in the courtroom. Now, if you want a more produced content coverage, that's where you're going to click here. Live video, Judgment Day, the sentencing of Ariel Castro.
We are just seeing that Ariel Castro has entered the courtroom. It is 9:23. He is there with his defenders, and we do expect to hear from him today. The question we are waiting on is whether we will hear from any of the 3 victims.
Ariel Castro, I remember all the times that you came home talking about what everybody else did wrong and act like you wasn't doing the same thing. You said, at least I didn't kill you. You took 11 years of my life away. and I have got it back.
Amanda, she got into my vehicle without even knowing what it was. I don't blame you. I'm not putting the fault on her, but I'm just saying, I'm trying to make a point across that I am not a violent predator that you're trying to make me look a monster. I'm not a monster. I'm a normal person. I am just sick. I have an addiction.
These remarkable women, again, have their freedom, which is the most precious aspect of being an American. Mr. Castro, you forfeited that right. You now become a number with the Department of Rehabilitation and Correction. You will be confined for the remainder of your days.
His victims, Amanda Berry, Gina DeJesus, and Michelle Knight, lasted more than a decade here on Seymour Avenue in a prison of Ariel Castro's own design. He lasted only 4 months behind bars, a sudden and very final end to more than a decade of hell on earth for these women. This is a case where justice wasn't just blind, it was blindingly fast. Consider that 4 months ago this morning, Gina, Amanda, and Michelle were entering their 11th year in Ariel Castro's Seymour bunker, tortured and raped. May 6th was their Independence Day. 3 days later, Ariel Castro was in court. 3 months after that, he was put away for life. He agreed to a plea deal that spared the victims from having to testify. He was serving life in prison without the possibility of parole. As the justice system worked fast, the community worked faster. 1 week after he was sent downstate for the rest of his life, his house came down. In a stunning display, Michelle Knight showed up to watch and comment.
Nobody was there for me when I was missing. And I want the people out there to know, including the mothers, that they can have strength, they can have hope, and their child will come back.
More recently, the adjacent houses came down as talk continues of what should be put up in their place. Castro was never to be heard from again until making news last night. A story that began with 3 disappearances, an unreal 911 call of survival, ends with a suicide that some will applaud and others will question how the system allowed it to happen. Ariel Castro dead this morning, a mere 4 months after we learned who he was. Now, this is a photo of the very type of prison cell where Ariel Castro was being held. It is an isolation cell at the Correctional Reception Facility in Orient, Ohio. Now, the Ohio Bureau of Prisons is now investigating his death and exactly what happened there. A spokesperson tells us that Castro had no disciplinary history and was not on suicide watch. The determination to place an inmate on suicide is made by credentialed prison mental health staff following an assessment of that inmate, that he had been rather on suicide watch when he was being held here in Cleveland. Stephanie, again, everyone on Seymour Avenue this afternoon just really thinking about the victims in this case and how they could be handling this news today. A spokesperson says that the families are requesting privacy at this time.